Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
I'm Gamey Good Game.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. Tonight we have, I'm not doing a jingle or a ditty for this one. We're doing, for Jeffuary, Grubby Grab Grub's True Origin.
Why?
That's a very good question, honestly. Why? So Grubby Grab Grub's True Origin is by Sykokillah, Sykokillah.
Poor literacy is cute.
It's cute. And it's on Just the Kittens wiki. So you can check it out there if you really want to. However, my recommendation going forward for this is no. I will not recommend this.
I will also not recommend this.
I mean, I love this story.
I'm sorry?
You heard Gamey Good Game. I love this story.
Are you for real?
Yeah, keep her going.
Okay. Then I suppose we'll move on to the rundown.
You're gonna be confused this entire time now.
I don't. Okay, you do you, buddy.
Yep.
So Grubby Grab Grub Wood and his dad, maybe his mom too, and his uncle brother Junkles. You heard me. Move into a shitty part of town where they have some bad dudes living next door. Randy, Keith, and Troy. Yes, this is a version of Jeff the Killer's origin story, but with some names changed. Grubby Grab Grub and Junkles go to school. They get bullied by a guy named Greg who wants their lunch Robux, but they fight him. And Grubby Grab Grub nearly kills the bully. Grubby Grab Grub is suspended, and there's a lawsuit, but it's acquitted because Grubby Grab Grub and Junkles were defending themselves. Months later, Junkles gets ambushed by Randy and his gang and is shot and killed. Grubby Grab Grub sees this, but unable to stop it, runs home, but the police don't want to do anything about it. The home life spirals downward, with Grubby Grab Grub's dad getting more drunk than he already was, and abusive, and Grubby Grab Grub enters a depression, eventually stumbling upon a website for satanic worship. It's here he performs a ritual to contact the devil, and while the devil can't bring Junkles back, he gives Grubby Grab Grub immortality and the ability to get revenge on Randy and co. But only if Grubby Grab Grub continues to kill people. So he agrees. Changed by the ritual, Grubby Grab Grub goes to Randy's apartment and kills him with his own gun. Then Grubby Grab Grub kills Troy and Keith as they rush in to see what's going on. Grubby Grab Grub flees from the cops, but he gets shot multiple times. Good thing he's immortal now. He hides in a restaurant freezer room for several hours until an employee arrives, and Grubby Grab Grub kills him too, before returning home with his. By the way, he's also wearing his white hoodie and that's now bloodied and black trousers.
And because he was in the freezer for a while, he is now pale.
Yes, although he was apparently part of the ritual changed his skin like because the blood flow stopped working, so his skin went yellowish. And then
specifically it said,
yeah, his hands and stuff like that. I guess the tips of his hands and stuff like that. But yeah, now, because of the freezer, he got pale white. Also, because of the bully fighting, he had his nose broken, so it was always kind of flattened a little bit, when it was fully recovered. Anyway, he proceeds to make his face more terrifying by carving a smile into his face. Getting the look of Jeff the Killer down in his bathroom when he gets home.
Yeah, he's referencing the image.
Yes.
He wasn't actually a joke.
What? Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, his dad mom maybe I don't know. Interrupts Jack Jack interrupts Grubby Grub while he's doing this in his bathroom, and Grubby Grub attacks. Then Grubby Grub tapes up his dad to the bed and tries to carve a smile into his dad's face like his own, but ultimately just ends up torturing and then killing his dad, all the while saying, "Go to sleep." Finn. So yeah, that was Grubby Grub's true origin. I suppose we'll move on to everyone tolerates the Grab Inquisitions at this point, and boy howdy should you expect it for this one.
Yeah, probably.
So gonna start with this one. Dad, where's mom? Grubby Grub said. So again, hard to say that, like, pronounce what's happening, but the dad was lowercase when it should be capitalized. And I think there should be an apostrophe in where's. So it's like, where is mom? Like, kind of like the shorting of that.
Oh yeah.
Right. Next. Yeah. I guess also mom could have been capitalized, but like that's there's a finer point.
Why dad has? Dad, because it's the start of the sentence.
Yeah.
I see.
The next one here. Mom, well, she went to get some milk and cigarettes for me, he replied. So I think there should be a comma. It's like mom, well.
Yeah, you read that wrong. That was mom, well.
Yeah, mom, well. Yeah. So like maybe either like the comma should be moved between mom and well, or there should be another comma.
Or mom ellipses well comma she went.
Yeah, that would also work. An ellipses would also. Yeah. To kind of like show that there's a pause as like he thinks about it or tries to think of a reason. The next thing here, the only reason they were moving was because Grubby Grub's ass of a father was a drunkard who couldn't quit drinking. I think it needs to be the only reason, like the only reason, not the only reason they were moving.
Yes.
Next one here. Other buildings had graffiti on them, none as severe as the one on Grubby Grub's building's door. So I think it actually should be. I think the S on the building should be moved over, so it says none as severe as the ones on Grubby Grub's building door, or building doors, rather. Just because, like, you don't need to give a possessive S on the building. Like, you can just call it like the building doors, like, because it's Grubby Grub's building. And the doors are on the building, so yeah.
Also, it would be possessive anyways, right?
It shouldn't be possessive, but I mean, like that. It is kind of like a possessive S when it's put like the building's doors.
I mean, technically, this title should be possessive as well. Right now, it's Grubby Grub is true origins.
Yeah, or it's the possessive S, and they're just going with the apostrophe between the B and before Grub and the S. Which I know you hate, and you think it's wrong, but let's move on. Grubby Grub noticed a bunch of people who looked like they wanted to harm the family, pointing and making faces at the four. I think it should be who looked like, not liked. They wanted to harm the family. Also, four? I only read Grubby Grub, his dad, and Uncle Junkle. Yep. And then the next thing here, then we get this. Nice to meet you. I'm Randy. You must be new here. The person said in an unexpectedly polite manner, which shaved Grubby Grub's hair off. I'm sorry? Was this going? I think it was going for like this the sort of turn of phrase which made the hairs on the back of Grubby Grub's neck stand on end, like, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like, unless he's like politely smiling and like and introducing himself as he's shaving Grubby Grub's hair.
Yeah, because everyone has a shaved head here.
Yeah,
one of us.
Yeah. You know, that's actually something that skinheads do to people that they don't like. Just
What, shave their head?
Like just forcibly like walk up to somebody and just like hold them down and shave their head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently that happened. I actually watched behind the scenes for like that iconic Apple commercial where like it's like a bunch of like conformist like kind of society and like it's all gray and black and white and like misty, and then like some woman with a sledgehammer runs into the room and throws a sledgehammer at like the big screen that's like talking about like purity of the purity of the society and stuff like that. But apparently so that commercial they got or it was filmed and directed and all that by Ridley Scott. Yeah, the guy they got Ridley Scott to do the to make the commercial, and to save on money they filmed it in England, and they used white supremacists as the cast members of the of like the bald of the shaved headed like conformist like drones in the ad. And apparently while they were filming, and this was all just to save money, but while they were filming, a group of the skinheads that they hired on ended up like holding one of the staff or one of the crew down and shaved their head. So, but that's not the story. That's just an interesting little like tidbit of information about that commercial that kind of reminded me from this of like them shaving. Supposedly shaving Grubby Grab Grub's head.
Finally got back.
Yeah. Back to this. Yeah, I think they were going for like the Randy's like mannerism like rubbed Grubby Grab Grub the wrong way. So his like kind of his hairs on the back of his neck stood on end. Like I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
But the next thing here. Yeah. So this is after like Randy like introduces himself and all that kind of stuff, and this is like the next thing over, like next thing down. Yeah, we just moved here into apartment 2G. I'm Margaret. This is my husband Peter, and these are my sons, Junkle and Grubby Grab Grub. Grubby Grab Grub's dad replied, "I'm sorry? What the hell is going on here?"
Yeah.
So I thought Junkles was Grubby Grab Grub's uncle, not brother. And since when is the mom in the picture? I thought earlier it said that she went to go get.
So there's clearly has to be 4 people there.
But I also
sitting there quietly the entire time.
But like I also thought like it said earlier like that like the reason why like, they're there is like mom went to go get milk and cigarettes, which is a common turn of phrase for someone running off and abandoning their loved ones. Was she actually getting milk and cigs, and they just didn't bring that up, like her return back up, and like again, like you said, she's just been like standing there quietly, and then
because she went out to get milk and cigarettes, something bad happened, and they had to leave their previous home. Like she left the house to get milk and cigarettes while none of them were home or something, and then their house got down.
Maybe
so
also
left to get milk and cigarettes. That's why they're here. But she's there. She's just quiet the entire time.
Yeah, but like Grubby Grab Grub's dad replied to that, and like it said, "I'm Margaret. This is my husband Peter." Why did the dad reply when it said like their name was Margaret and all that, and like this is my husband? Not that there's anything wrong with that if this is supposed to be an LGBT family, but I don't think that's the case at all. I think this is just poor writing. Yep. I think this is just. I think this is just like some continuity issue, or like I think this is just like a writing flub more than anything.
I was wondering if maybe he just has 2 dads, and one of them is referred to as dad, and the other one is referred to father. Because father is referred to one specific character, and dad is always the other one.
Yeah, but I don't think that's I honestly don't think that's the case.
It really isn't the case based on the end of the story.
Yeah, and it keeps going. Yeah, like that insanity will keep going throughout the story.
When Margaret, I'll just use the name because it's easier than saying mom or dad in this. When she says like, this is my husband Peter, my son Junkles and Grubby Grab Grub. Randy doesn't react to that at all. He's just, oh, cool. Yeah, I'm next door.
Yeah, it's like
not like your Grab Grub.
I've got actually a whole thing of that in my actual thoughts, man.
Okay.
Like I got you covered, bro.
But basically all the stuff you just read is an actual thought to me. Actually,
I was like, yeah, well, part of me was, but like I think it's also more like part of it is also like there's definitely some issues with the writing, like as a type in terms of like typos and continuity and such. But
most of my notes have grammar in them, and most of my grammar.
Yeah, there was definitely a point where I was like going through my like notes and like categorizing them into grammar inquisition or actual thoughts, and I was like, I think this might also fall into actual thoughts, but I'm going to put it into grammar because I think it fits better. But I think it's more prominent as a grammar issue. But I'll move on to the next thing here. The boy put him against the lockers, and Grubby Grab Grub's head collided hard with the metal locker. I think it's supposed to. They're just missing an S there. I think it's supposed to be the boy pushed him against the lockers. And then the next one here, Junkles noticed what was happening, and being a protective older uncle that he was, punched the guy straight in the kisser as soon as he turned. Brother or uncle? Which one is it?
It's a brunkle.
Yeah, my brunkle Junkle. Yes, my brunkle. Yeah. Fuck. Moving on to the next thing.
I have a note on that.
Oh, you do? Okay.
All this, by the way.
Okay. The next thing I have here, the boy shoved Junkles to the ground. His spine hit the ground, causing him to wince in pain. I think maybe it should have been like the boy shoved Junkles to the ground, comma, on his back hard, comma, causing him to wince in pain. I was unaware the boy performed a fatality on Junkles.
Yeah, he slammed to the ground like time slowed. They did the X-ray thing, and you see the spine there. It's like
exactly, yeah.
Motion.
Like it was like too specific that like it hit the spine hit the ground. The next one here. The guy's head went back from the impact. Grubby Grab Grub ignored the unrelenting pain in his broken nose, grabbed his head, and pulled it toward his raised knee. Bone met bone, but Grubby Grab Grub didn't stop there. He pulled his head in for another kick, and another, and another, and another. His face bared the look of rage, of insanity. Okay, so I know it's supposed to mean that it's the other boy's head that is getting kicked again. But the way it is done, this is definitely a case of like use the person's name, or like use like another like a signifier at the start of your sentence, because I kept thinking that it was just it was Grubby Grab Grub kept like smashing his own head into his knee over and over and over.
I mean, that does bear the look of rage and insanity in it.
You're not wrong. Yeah, it was like it's definitely an insane display. We're gonna move on to the next one here. Not a single soul budged, not wanting to miss the dadant of the fight. I think it's supposed to say the end of the fight. I think that's what that means. I tried looking up dadant, and it's not a word as far as I could tell.
I think it's moment. Didn't want to miss
didn't want to miss a moment of the fight. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You know, honestly, because that comes, I think dadant comes back again. And I think for that one, I also said like moment. So yeah. Grubby Grab Grub hesitated for a dadant. And it's like, isn't that supposed to mean moment? Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next one here. Grubby Grab Grub looked at himself astonished by his actions, searched for an answer, but found none. I think it's supposed to be, again, there's an S missing, so it should be found himself, or looked at Junkles himself astonished by his actions. The next one here. Grubby Grab Grub was surfing this website on his netbook while Junkles had his nose buried in a comic book. It's either the word, the use of a or this, not both. Like it's either Grubby Grab Grub was surfing a website on his netbook, or it's Grubby Grab Grub was surfing this website on his netbook.
Well, this wouldn't work because it's not referencing the website ever.
Yeah, so it should really just be a.
The way I corrected it was surfing the web, because I don't know if you would specifically say you're surfing a website. Because you go to a website, but you surf the web, right?
I think surfing the web is just like the shortening of that term, like surfing the website.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Or is that referring to the World Wide Web, though?
that's true. Yeah. I like surfing. I mean,
Like surfing the web is like going from website to website.
yeah. I'd actually I take your correction. I think more like surfing the web on his netbook because like
Mainly because it doesn't reference a specific website.
exactly, yeah. Like not until like the second time he's on his netbook, then we can actually get a website that he was looking at. But like in this case, it looks like it just sounds like he's just surfing the web. He's not. We don't get a specific website. So yeah. The next one here, the police was called, but for some reason, Troy, Randy, and Keith weren't arrested. I think it's supposed to be the police were called, not was called. The police was called. It's like a really bad like dialect thing going on there. And then this is another case of astonished. Randy woke up, an astonished look on his face, and it keeps going. And so yeah, I think it's just I think it's just a simple typo error. Just it's supposed to be astonished.
Same letter as before.
Yeah, it's missing the S. Like all like puhed, like the pushed one, astonished. I think it's just a case of like the S, the for some reason S didn't happen, like or S was getting missed for some reason. It also happens in my next one actually. He had finally gained his revenge, although he wished Randy's demise to be more painful, more torturous. I think in that case, again, missing the S, so that it would say, although he wished Randy's demise to be more painful. And the next one is the same thing. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Like,
you know what? Whoever wrote this is a gamer. WASD.
Yeah.
Their S keys messed up from playing
from
games.
Gaming. Yeah. I've got some theories onto like why the story is the way it is, but we'll and honestly the gaming part aspect is 100% is probably correct as well. Or is tied to that. So the next one here, a while later, Troy and Randy hid into the room. So only a while later, also only a while later, like I think maybe it should be suddenly Troy and Randy rushed into the room.
No, they took their time after the gunshots.
Yeah. Also, I think maybe while we're at it here, maybe remove the period there, like after room, put a comma and change the and Grubby grab grub shot them point blank and make that but Grubby grab grub shot them point blank. So it makes a complete full sentence.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll move on to the next one here. He wanted that the last thing his victim saw would be his terrifying and happy face. I think it should remove the comma after terrifying, which is it's there, and put it between that and the. So he's like he wanted that comma. The last thing his victim saw would be his terrifying and happy face. And then my last grammar inquisition. His dad had to go to the bathroom and walked in to see his son. A terrifying sight. He would be the last thing he saw as he lunged at her, knife in hand. He didn't even get the chance to react by screaming. This story really could have used a round of like this was like the final straw. Like this story really could have just used like a round of editing specifically to fix these minor incongruities of like the dad walking in and he would be the last thing he saw as he lunged at her, knife in hand. He didn't even get the chance to react by screaming. It's like
yeah. In that case, it should be mom.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be the mom walked into the bathroom, and then the dad was still asleep, and then that's why like the mom's killed in the bathroom, and then the dad gets tied up or gets duct taped or taped up on the bed, so that Grubby Grub can torture and kill him. But that is the last of my grammar inquisitions. Mikey, what do you got?
All right, I think I got one.
We got one.
Grubby Grub finally understanding was going on.
Oh wow, I missed that one.
Yeah. So it should be what was going on as opposed to was.
Yeah.
And then I have a conjunction junction.
Oh boy. All right. And next stop, conjunction junction. Doot, doot.
But Grubby Grub didn't dare say that to his parents. It attracted the attention of nearly every soul in the immediate vicinity. But Grubby Grub didn't stop there. He pulled his head in for another kick, and another, and another, and another. It wasn't until he was already out on the street that he realized. It was far-fetched, but Grubby Grub would do anything to get Junkles back, or get revenge on Randy. It was midnight. It was Troy's, and Grubby Grub shot them point blank. It was dawn now, and the first streaks of sunlight shone onto the ground. It seemed out of place. It was uncanny how one instant could change so much in an innocent boy, how one day could destroy his mind and his humanity. Finn.
Wow.
So, like, he beat the shit out of someone, went outside, and he's like, it's Troy. It's midnight. He shot them. So, like, shot Troy and also shot the moon?
Shoot the moon.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like somebody told us, like, you should shoot for the moon. It's like, all right, I'll shoot the moon.
That was a thing.
Yep.
And for those unaware, like, he does these strings of sentences to highlight all the sentences of a story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like gets, ands, or buts. There's always better words.
Yep. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of expecting your conjunction junction to be a little bit longer. I wasn't looking like on the lookout for like how many there were in the story, but like I just imagined there were from my own previous reading experience of the story. But yeah. All right, Gamer, you're up.
Okay. So my first bit, for my first trick, I will be figuring out the meaning of words. Through this story, there's a bunch of words that get repeated, and there's no instance of that word shown.
Okay.
So dadn't is moment, as I mentioned in your notes.
Yeah.
Love is hate, which elaborates on my initial recommendation of I love them.
Oh, so you just had, so you it was either a typo or a translation error.
Yeah, I guess. Robux turns into money.
Mm-hmm.
And then Diabellum Celici Mensuli Aku Bonson Denken Sala Kensenai Mengadin Kan Kepaleku Stempejan Jalan Ataku Aku Akan Matambu Kaku Lol means shit. Brother.
Yep.
And dad is mom, unless he has two dads and he calls one father and one dad.
Maybe. So Robux is actually so there's actually this is going to go into my actual thoughts a little bit.
It's going to be going into mine as well.
Okay, yeah, because Robux, it was actually the first kind of signifier of like what the actual nature of the story was to me. The second thing was the long string of Indonesian words that you said. By the way,
repeat that for me.
All of them.
Okay.
So I translated, like I just like I wholesale just like copied and pasted that into at first I copied and pasted into Google to see if it was some kind of like thing that was online. I found a lot of images of like a woman on a bed like crying next to a towel, and I was wondering why that was until I got into Google Translate and had it search for the language of it, and it picked up Indonesian and gave me a perfect translation of those words.
Really, I couldn't get it to do that.
Really?
Pick what it was. I'm like, screw it, I gotta keep reading.
Yeah, it says detect. It says detect. If you go up to like the through the languages, it's at the very top. There's a detect language. option. So those words in Indonesian translate over in Google Translate to, "She hasn't finished washing yet. I'm tired of her little troubles, shaking my head all the way, or I'll screw you up."
Okay.
That's it.
However, for this story, the translation to shit.
Yes,
works
I
better
think it's a
happens
slur.
Twice in the story.
Mhm.
It happens when the bully picks him up and he says like, "I don't have to pay you shit."
Yeah,
Blah 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 blah. And then later on, when Brunkle Junkles is walking to the store and he says, long string of sentence, "I forgot my money at home."
it's like, shit,
So,
I forgot my money.
at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
So it's just an expletive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's some kind of expletive, and I have a feeling. Again, I'll dive. I'll dive more into this in my actual thoughts. I'll save that for that. So, but yeah, I actually would accept like all those like for like the fill-in words that you've translated.
Yeah, because like if you search, you can't find other instances of it except for mom actually. Because at the start, it's like dad, where's mom? But
Yeah.
through the rest of the story, every time dad is said, it's referring to the motherly figure, and father is drunk.
Well, except at the very end, because he mentions dad in bed.
Well, he
Was it dad or father?
Pretty sure it was dad.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
does he say dad, or does the
It's
story
odd
say dad?
or he's dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's him talking, then he might just have called his dad. I don't know.
Might
It's-
literally just be he has two dads, so they're both
Yeah.
technically dad. But when he's referring to one and then the other, one's father, one's dad. But if he's referring to just one, you can call one whatever you want.
Maybe.
He's insane at this point.
Yeah, that's also true.
But
But,
move on.
yeah. Thank you.
First one was talked about. Second one is pretty simple. Grubby Grub is said 96 times in this story. Kill me.
It was literally like I was chuckling to myself at the absurdity because it was really coming off as C spot run, C Grubby Grub knife a bitch.
Yeah.
Like
96 times though.
yeah.
God damn.
Let's put it this way. Every time, like for my rundown, like I wrote that rundown down rather than write it all the time. I just copied it and pasted it every time I needed to use it.
I thought you were specifically using it more than you needed to because of how the story uses it more.
Also, that there was also yes.
And then when it said, we kind of talked about this at the start where it says like there's four of them in the car. You should just if there is three, say three. If there is four, say four. I believe there is actually four though, so it's probably not actually a grammar problem. It's just it didn't just.
There's a grammar problem in identifying like the parentage. That's the problem.
Yeah, and then later on, I'll kind of get into this, but it says a small kid was getting his lunch Robux taken from him.
Yeah.
That would be like okay, at this point, this is when it started to click. I'm like, this is the second instance of Robux being referenced.
Yeah.
Is this a Jeff the Killer roleplay happening inside the game of Roblox?
So that is exactly what I think is happening. So that's honestly my first. That's my second actual thought. Because at first I was like, okay, his name's Grubby Grub, and his dad and his brother uncle is named Junkles. Are these carnies or something? Like where like their parents just named them, or like they have like a monikers, or like they're just like they're weird folk. And then the Robux thing hit me, and that's when I realized, like, is this like a Roblox Jeff the Killer fanfic? Because like my niece Cultist watches these videos all the time on YouTube, and I've like skimmed by them and like seen them, and like they're like role play games, like people like role playing creepypasta like stories where they introduce like Slender Man and Jeff the Killer into these like little narratives they've come up with, and it's all through the lens of Roblox. Like they even add in like characters that like Jeff the Killer mods for Roblox and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this story is supposed to be a fanfic of a Roblox Jeff the Killer like origin story. Like that it would be told by kids and like people who make those videos on YouTube for in the Roblox as a medium.
The choice.
And it's a choice, and it's also like I was definitely showing my age while reading this, because like I just felt myself withering as like this is how Jeff the Killer is being translated to the next generation. Yeah.
I would say that's unfortunate, but Jeff deserves it.
Yeah. What did we say last week? You you either die an icon or live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I don't know which one this.
Yeah.
I don't know which one this applies to. This could he either died the icon, like as he dies a slow, painful Roblox death, or he's lived long enough as an icon, a creepypasta icon, to become a Roblox character.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But we'll move on.
Yeah.
So the next part is, I kind of brushed on this when the bully picks him up and he says, I don't have to pay long string of words that I don't want to say. My old pal, my good friend, my all-right buckaroo, my feel-good man, my friend neighborhood thug man, my El Chicago, my hun, you're a cunt, lol.
Okay, and then
I feel like I should just say, like, I don't have to pay shit to anybody, buddy.
Also, you've read the last part of the next part, which is like Grubby Grub certainly would not hand over his pocket Robux to some ninja lover 6000 _ XXX sans gamer XXX, even if he did not have much Robux. Besides, Junkles would protect him, hopefully.
See, that's the thing. I didn't want to read the whole story.
Well, that's fine.
I didn't want to have a note be the entire paragraph. But yeah.
Well, that's fine. Yeah.
Because that next one is like, yeah, clearly that's his gamer tag. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So or like, is that also a slang? Like because like it brought up earlier. It's like some ninja lover at 6,000, and then it goes on. And it's like a gamer tag, but like
the same person twice though.
Oh, maybe yeah. But like, why would he say like some like to because when usually it's like, oh, I wouldn't give my money to some like asshole like that. Like is like
some guy named this.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah. I don't know.
Like Grubby Grub is his gamer tag. Uncle Junkle is the other gamer tag.
Man, I seriously
is his brother.
I do feel like this is the episode where we lose any listeners who are fans of Roblox. Just from our sheer ignorance of Roblox.
Yeah, because I kind of get it, but not really.
I only passively know it because of my niece cultist. So
I passively know of it because I watched Game Grumps play like 3 or 4 episodes of playing Roblox stuff.
Yeah,
but that's about all I know. Anyways,
gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll move on. That was talked about.
This is gonna be me when I do my actual thoughts because I've chimed in with a couple of my actual thoughts here.
And then we get to when Uncle Junkle is going shopping to pick up stuff, right? And then from behind him he hears, "Going somewhere, Junkles?" That voice made Junkles freeze in place with love.
I also have a bit on that.
So you can turn around and like see Randy there and like make out with him. And like this is how the quote unquote bully. This is how he quote unquote bullies Junkles when Grub isn't around. He just makes out with them.
I was like, honestly, my reaction to that was like, has Junkles just been like Stockholm syndromed by the bullying, and now he's just like in love with the bully?
It's entirely possible.
I mean that
place of fear, as I said before.
Yeah. Well, I thought you said love was hate, not fear.
Oh yeah, it was fear.
I mean hate.
Where was the first one where it shows up? Hang on.
Yeah, I think it was to do with the like at the bully with Greg.
Oh yeah, when he's like on the ground, he like narrowed his eyes in a sense of love in his eyes. So yeah, that would be fear. So technically, my initial recommendation is I fear this, which I do as well. But that's fine.
Yeah.
If that was also the case, though, because like when Junkles punched Greg in the face, knocked him down, and it said like he looked up with love in his eyes.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was love because that bully previously said, "Have you?"
So
my boyfriend. He said that.
So yeah, you're absolutely right.
So and thought that because like this guy's a bully, like being punched, he might like be into that.
I legit. So this is what I commented on that. So it's like, yeah, he fell back. Locker, who had, and then like he wiped the red liquid off of his mouth and glared at Junkles, who now had a sense of love in his eyes. "You got a lot of guts, kid," he said as he grabbed Junkle's collar. "Now kiss."
Yeah.
I think maybe it was like with a sense of respect, like for like being punched, or like maybe with a sense of hate for like getting punched. Unless, again, like you said, like unless the bully just like unless getting punched is just how it just really turns on the bully.
Or, as I said before, love means fear in this.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll move on.
Yeah. See, like, yeah, I wasn't sure where to put, like, if to put that in my grammar Inquisition or my actual thoughts, just to address like how like absurd that was.
My notes.
Yeah.
And my last note, Randy motioned with his head towards Junkles' waist, where he found a gun hooked to the silencer aimed straight at his kidney. So it's hard to come across in audio format, but it's the wrong type of waist. It's typed in as WASTE, like as in garbage, but it's referring to his waist around his midsection.
I didn't catch that. Okay. I definitely typonese that into like just being his waist, like the body part, the body location.
Wrong waist. Also,
Yeah.
these high school kids are living in the slums and they have access to suppressors.
Yeah. Also, another thing is, because of the way that sentence is written, I wasn't sure if it was Junkles that had the gun or Randy until the next sentence, where it's clear that Randy has the gun, but it doesn't make that clear.
Yeah, he could have just been holding a gun at Randy.
Like he turns around to face. Like he turns around. Oh no! It's a Blazing Saddles bit where he puts the gun to his own waist.
I don't remember that one.
No. In Blazing Saddles, it's different. Like he puts, like the sheriff puts the gun to his own head. It's like watch it, or the N-word gets it. I refuse to say that.
I remember.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, like calm down. Like he takes himself hostage.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, considering that this is all basically a chat log from Roblox, whatever. They can have a.
You're spoiling.
You're pistol in the game, whatever.
Yeah. You're spoiling my actual thoughts.
So many of my.
I know.
References that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is some kid on Roblox typing this in the chat.
Like,
as like part of
the story references directly that game.
Yeah.
You can't get around it. Like,
No, I understand.
Even in these grammar things.
Yeah.
But I'm moving on. I'm done. So no time.
Okay. On to actual thoughts. The proper actual thoughts.
Which I'm sure have grammar related things.
Yeah. So when I first started the story, I had no, like, Grubby Grab Grub True Origins. I was like, okay, is this on Just the Killer's wiki? So I hope this actually has Jeff the Killer in it.
It's not just the wiki.
Sorry, Just the Kittens wiki.
Yeah.
So I hope it has a Jeff the Killer story in it, or like Jeff the Killer in it. And then I read this at the very start of the story. 13-year-old Grubby Grab Grub Woods sighed with discontent as the rusty maroon car pulled up to the rundown apartment building. And so two things came up. First off, like, oh my God, Grubby Grab Grub is Jeff the Killer in the story, isn't he? Why are we changing the name?
But like, when it says like 13-year-old Grubby side, I'd be like, yeah, I would too if my parents named me that.
Like, yeah, legit. Also, this kept popping up in my head the entire time I read the story, and had to read Grubby Grab Grub over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Grubby Grab Grub, thanks for the dub. Step.
Wow.
Because like I kept thinking, like, yubba dub dub, thanks for the grub. Grubby Grab Grub, thanks for the dub. It has the same fucking like jingle to it, like the same kind of like beat to it. So I kept, like, every time I've had to say, yeah, not even like every time I have to say Grubby Grab Grub, I immediately want to say thanks for the dub.
96 times to you.
Yes.
I'm so sorry for your loss, but also we got your musical jingle in here.
Damn it. I told myself I wouldn't do another jingle on this story.
Yeah. When I did the Grubby Grab Grub, I kept thinking of Wubba Lubba Dub Dub from Rick and Morty, which means I am in great pain. Please help me.
Nice. Well, that's certainly what I was feeling. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. I just call him Grub every time it comes up. I just ignore the first couple and just call him Grub.
I think I tried and then I just like submitted to the story. I got Stockholm syndrome to the story. Moving on to the next one here that I haven't covered yet in Grammar Inquisition. I did that one. Okay, here. So actually this ties into the Indonesian words that were kind of the ones that you read that just say like that effectively in the story mean like they're like a curse or like basically shit. But when you translate them, they're like it's like she hasn't finished washing yet. I'm tired of her little troubles. Shaking my head all the way, or I'll screw you up. I don't know if this is so. I wasn't sure if this was like song lyrics or not, or like if this story was typed. So I at first my go-to was that this story was typed on somebody's phone, and there was like a weird autocomplete, and then it was also being translated into
all that,
and that it was being translated from a different language, i.e., Indonesian, which may have been the author's like the author's like native language to English, and then posted on the wiki. But I kind of think that you're more on the nose, gamer, in terms of like the speculation and theory, and that's all this is. Like we don't know 100% because we haven't asked Sykokillah, but I think you're more on the nose that this is actually just the chat log, like role play session that somebody is doing in Roblox, and then they just ported that material to the wiki.
Mm-hmm.
Because that makes way more sense in terms of like the fact that we're getting a whole bunch of Roblox kind of affiliated stuff into this story, including Grubby Grab Grub and Junkles is probably like they kind of, to me, those sound like something you like names you'd hear in Roblox, just from what knowledge I have by glancing at what my niece cultist is watching on her tablet. So
what's just knowledge you would have from playing games? Like people have gamer tags where they
exactly
weird shit, you know.
Yeah, there's also that too. Yeah. But I'll move away from that. We kind of talked a bit about that in both the Grammar Inquisition and like actual thoughts here. But I'll move on to some more pressing information, some more pressing actual thoughts. Fatigue didn't set into Grubby Grab Grub's muscles yet, but the pain in his broken nasal bones intensified. Okay, just biologically that is wrong. There aren't nasal bones. There aren't bones in your nose. It's cartilage.
That's fair.
Yeah. Just but again, I could see like a younger person like not knowing that, or just like thinking that's what you call the what makes your nose, or what makes the shape in your nose. So I'm not going to be at that too hard on that part. I just like factually that's inaccurate. But I'll move on to the next thing here. Grubby Grab Grub may have killed him if the principal hadn't noticed the commotion and stopped him. Greg's face had been bloodied and battered, and his facial features were rendered unrecognizable. And thus, we have the origin as well of Slender Man. His name was Greg.
Was Slender Man?
No, because it was facial features were rendered unrecognizable.
And he was taller.
He was taller, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have the Roblox the Roblox excuse for Slender Man. I think we have the Roblox explanation for Slender Man now.
Yeah, they went to high school together.
Yeah, at Creepypasta High.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a thing.
I wouldn't be surprised.
In some fanfic or fandom, or even in Roblox, I'm sure that's a series of videos. Yeah, I'm sure the Rake is there, and Jane the Killer and Siren Head and Smile Dog is a teacher there. The principal's probably
Smile Dog, as in just the picture of it.
no, like Smile Dog is probably the head of photography class or the photography club.
Oh, I see.
Why are we talking?
We should not be making a canon here.
Yeah, we should not be making a canon here. We should also not be like rewarding. I mean, like whatever. It's probably this is probably all done by kids, so like let them do what they want. But that is not what I'm gonna do. So anyway, moving on. Next thing I have here. So this is like months later, like after the lawsuit and like the fight with Greg and like the beatdown on Greg and such. As Grubby Grab Grub and Junkles are hanging out in their room and stuff like that, we get this. I liked it, Junkles. Junkles looked up from his comic and turned his gaze toward Grubby Grab Grub, still surfing the net. His eyes automatically went to Grubby Grab Grub's bandaged, covered nose. What? I liked beating up that Ninja Lover 6000 _ XXX Sans Gamer XXX. I felt good. It felt good. Grubby Grab Grub faced Junkles, a visage of concern and love on his face. That doesn't make me crazy, does it? The fact that you're bringing it up now, months or sorry, not months, a few days later, and apparently been mulling it over in your head over and over again. Yeah, it might make you sound crazy.
Well, Uncle Junkle did say that he was like lying about it. Like it was clear that he's lying about saying, yeah it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, he knows it's not fine.
Yeah, it's definitely not fine. But like just like the fact that like a couple of days went by. Yeah, sorry, it was a couple of days, not a couple of months. A couple of days go by, and then Junkles now talks about it. It's like in movies when like people are having a conversation, and then it cuts away to like a different scene, like a different time, and they're still talking. Like there's the retort later.
Yeah,
it's like it makes no goddamn sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next thing here. Oh, here's the part with months. So months passed, and Grubby Grab Grub's months passed, and Grubby Grab Grub's nose eventually healed, but it remained slightly flat. Grubby Grab Grub and Junkles were frequently bullied severely by Randy and two of his friends, Troy, an obese stoner, and Keith, a gothic-looking skinny dude, also a stoner. But they didn't tell anyone, as they believed that would only make it worse. So this is how we get No Nose Jeff. I'm sorry, Grubby Grab Grub. It's just like his nose was flattened from getting punched by Greg. Okay, that's fair. Also, I love how the story just breezes past months of bullying from the actual bully characters in the story, like that, like actually are the advent for like Grubby Grab Grub becoming the killer.
It's not important. It can happen off.
Yeah,
screen.
exactly. Yeah, like who? It was It was vital that we get the bully at high school that gives him his flat nose.
Because that's a character trait that's visual.
Yeah, exactly.
Bullies are just bullying him and taking his Roblox.
Yeah. Physical appearances are more crucial than emotional scarring and like development.
Of course.
Yeah. I'll move on then. Suddenly, yeah. And we got this one here. Going so. Oh, yeah, I also covered this one. I think with you is going somewhere Junkles. Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, here I have something else to say about that. So this is when Junkles gets ambushed by Randy and Keith and Troy. Yeah. So like so aside from the love part, he turned his head to look at three figures behind him. One was skinny, one rotund, and one the average smile of a person.
Just the smile. There's no body. It's just the smile that's floating there.
One, the average smile for a person. Okay, so I think that's supposed to say size. But I'm like, what the fuck is an average smile for a person? And why is that
like an average dude just doing a normal smile, just a normal looking dude?
But like, it's just like, I love how like the other, it was again, I couldn't stop laughing at it. It was just like, one was skinny, one was rotund, and one the average smile for a person. It's like, those like we got two like physical descriptions of like size or like weight and stuff like that, and then we just get like a facial description for Randy.
Yeah, it's like one guy was really fat, one guy was really thin, and one guy really loves long walks on the beach.
Yeah,
It's completely random. A different
it's Randy's smile is really what turned Junkles over to his side.
It's his one defining trait.
Yeah, it's what won him over in the end. I'll move on to the next thing here. He acts. So this is when this is after the death of Junkles and Grubby Grab Grub's spiral of depression and such. He accidentally clicked a link and came across a website on devil worshipping. He became intrigued and started to browse the contents of the site because, of course, why not? Let's add satanic worship and like devil summoning into a Jeff the Killer story. Although, actually, that might make a Jeff the Killer story an actual cool, interesting idea. To give him like demonic power, like give a reason why he has like uncanny abilities and stuff like that, is that he actually has demon powers. But not in this story. This story, it would have been cool in its own separate story about Jeff the Killer. I don't think I like it in this story at all. Then we got this sentence here. So this is when Jeff is on the run after killing Randy and Co. A police officer. What?
Who's Co?
Like Keith and Randy, or Keith and Troy.
A joke. Just let me have this.
No. All right, fine. All right. Well, moving on to this one then. A police officer stood in his way. He went down with one punch. Sorry, I could not resist when I read that. He went down with one punch. One punch. Moving on to the next thing. He went into the bathroom, taking a knife and a box of matches with him. He carved a Chelsea smile into his face. Blood leaked out, but he felt no pain. He took the matches and burned out his eyelids. This left black circles around his eyes. Eyelids are for moisture. Since Grubby Grab Grub was immortal, he didn't need them. So as I was reading this part, I was like, okay, here we go with more of the origin of his low. What the fuck? Like, eyelids are for moisture. Clearly, since Grubby Grab Grub was immortal, he didn't need them. I guess maybe like he is insane, so maybe that's the thinking.
It's literally just, how do I make him look exactly like the picture?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. We need to get all these things. And on that, the next bit of description actually is probably the most reasonable explanation I've heard in a Jeff the Killer story for why he has this part of his look, aside from, just having this look. So here's the quote. For some reason, which was probably his deal with the devil, his skin wouldn't return to normal. His brown hair didn't sit right with his new terrifying face. It seemed out of place. He used his dad's hair dye. Silver hairs in his head had started to show up. That's in brackets. And dyed it black. And I was like, wow, somehow this has a more reasonable explanation for his hair being turned black than the original story.
Yeah. It has a better explanation for all of his features than the original story.
That is also true, yeah. I guess the devil stuff actually does work in the story's favor for giving us a more not plausible explanation for Jeff the Killer. But like,
it's more plausible because I know it's a cheap way out because it's magic, so fuck you. But
yeah,
it is more plausible because of that.
I guess. Yeah. All right. I rescind it. It's I hate the story, but it does give me that. It does give you that at least.
Do you see why I quote unquote love this story?
I will murder you in your sleep. Moving on. Oh, right. This part. Okay. Grubby Grab Grub put the knife into his father's cheek and attempted to cut a smile into his face. into his face. His father shook his head, resulting in a frown being cut instead of a smile. "Aw, Dad, are you sad?" Grubby Grab Grub inquired sarcastically, enjoying the torture, his voice disturbingly calm. "Don't worry. I'll make your sadness go away." His father's screams drowned out Grubby Grab Grub's voice, but he continued to speak. "All you had to do is," he said, plunging the knife into his father's heart as his screams faded away, "go to sleep." So I don't like the story as a whole, just because of like how ridiculous it, how kind of absurd it is, and how bad some of the grammar and typos and stuff like that all are in the story. But like between this and the description we get of Jeff the Killer, of like the origin of him and stuff, this is actually a kind of a decent end kill and rendition for the Jeff the Killer story. Like, I actually liked this. I liked this end paragraph. Like, it worked well for the last kill of and like kind of the ending of a story of Jeff the Killer. Like plunging, like it's like all you had to do was, and then he stabs his dad. "Go to sleep," and like that actually works for a Jeff the Killer story.
What?
But the rest of
slightly or heavily influenced by the fact that they're all Roblox games.
that also doesn't
they're all
help.
Lego-looking video game characters. One's laying in a bed, while the other one is like swinging a knife, probably up and down randomly.
Yeah.
Happening. So it kind of, if you can imagine it as real characters, yes.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
if
it's
you
like
remember that this is all Roblox, the fear goes away.
Yeah, part of me is like it's sort of like Free Guy, that movie with Ryan Reynolds, where he's a character in a video game. It's like who's to say that Roblox characters if they like when they look at each other they look like regular people, but because of the graphic quality they like that when we're playing them they look like Roblox characters.
Was that the case in Free Guy?
I don't know. I don't actually think so, but like.
Oh.
No,
but that is an interesting take on it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, Free Guy might have been a bad choice for that, for example for that, but like
I get it though.
Okay, good. I'm glad you get it. But yeah, like I like the ending was cool. Like the ending was good here. The description of like how Jeff gets his like iconic look, like I guess it's necessary for an origin story for Jeff at this point. Like it's mandatory that somebody that you contrive a reason why Jeff looks that way.
Yeah.
So like that was okay. Just the rest of the story. No. No bueno. But I'll relinquish my I'll relinquish my actual thoughts spotlight here. Mikey, these stands for evil. What do you got for your actual thoughts?
Well, it's pretty much all been covered.
Oh.
Wow, you nailed it.
Wow. You could have piped in, sir.
I did occasionally, but yeah, like we've mentioned Robux and how it's actually in Roblox, and we've done the whole uncle brother scenario and the dad mother.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Gamer, do you have anything left to say?
Cool. Let's see. Yeah, some of it we did go over. Like, yeah, let's see. Yeah, that was me trying to figure out Uncle Junkles is the brother or not. I kind of figured early on that it was a brother because when he was first referenced, it was Grub glanced at his older uncle, Junkles, which usually you would say older or younger brother, but you wouldn't refer that to your uncles unless there is also a younger uncle, Junkles, by the same name.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, at the point when it's like, when it says their family would have been better off by just, if he had just died of liver cancer, Grubby Grab Junkles had to work to earn Robux. At that point, I'm like, okay, they're brothers.
Yeah.
That makes sense there.
Yeah, once they introduced Robux, I was like, oh, It's
Yep.
one of those.
So Grub was the first to get out of the car. He slammed the car door shut and made a loud bang. It attracted the attention of nearly every soul in the immediate vicinity. The car alarm going off, triggering the horde of zombies.
This is actually a Left 4 Dead mod in Roblox.
Yeah, this is also Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if we mentioned this, but in school, the brothers' lockers are across the hall from each other, right? And then the bully comes up and he picks up Grub and he's like, I'm an asshole, I'm gonna beat you up. And he's like, no, long string of words, you're a dick. And then he punches him in the face, right?
Yeah.
And then after all that, Junkles noticed that this was happening, and being the protective uncle he was, he punched the guy straight in the kisser. But he like waited for all that shit to happen.
Yeah, I definitely got that. I didn't write anything down for it, but I definitely remember reading that part. It's like, where the fuck were you, Junkles?
Yeah, he took a sweet time helping him, considering his locker was right across the hall.
He's like,
he like heard this the moment Grub was picked up and slammed into the locker.
Yeah, there was some lag in the server.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, that actually makes sense in this. Like, that's not even a joke anymore.
Yep.
Or like you just got back from going to the bathroom, you had to get a drink or something.
Wait, is this the reason you love this story, gamer? Because it's a video game?
Shut up. Moving on. He continued this charade for what seemed like minutes, not even stopping for the school bell. This is in regards to Grub beating the shit out of Greg. It's a charade? Like, I don't understand why it's referred to as a charade. Unless it's just the fact that they're acting all this stuff out in the game. Like, that's why it's a charade.
Wow.
But, like, in the lore, it's not a charade. Right?
No, it's not a charade.
So I don't know why it says it's a charade.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then later on, Grub's father is like hitting his mother and all that. It says the first time Grub tried to stop him, but his efforts were proven to have been in vain when his father's arm struck his head and the blow sent him towards the floor. Grub was surfing the internet on his tiny netbook computer, trying to ignore his mother's pain scream. So, because of how quick that transition happens, I feel like Grub's father, who I guess is Meredith, I'm confused, based on what the story said, just accurately slapped Grub down to the ground directly in front of his laptop, and then Grub immediately started surfing the web.
Yeah, that's
through the motion.
Yeah. Also, I gotta say, like, because it does bring up in the story, like that, like the dad's abusing the wife and stuff like that, even sexually abusing her. And honestly, when I read that kind of came off as just like, again, kind of showing maybe the author's age and just being like edgy. It's like, oh yeah, even sexually abusing the mom. Like,
yeah,
it just, again, it definitely just kind of brought me back to like this person, the writer of the story is probably like a tween, if I had to guess.
Awesome.
Just because like it kind of reads a little bit like honestly a lot of and like honestly like that was the advent of Jeff the Killer. It was written by somebody who's obviously very young in their writing phasing, and like
pretty much every Jeff story has a large amount
of edge to it. Yeah,
that's like the whole appeal of him, right?
Yeah, the whole like the whole like kind of, again, the teen like vigilante justice appeal, or like the like being a teen, but like being able to like having some kind of empowerment is sort of what it is. But like, and this part again, just again with like the sexual abuse of the mother and stuff up on the dad, it just again screamed to me of just like, this person doesn't fully maybe doesn't fully understand nuance.
It's also done as justification for the murder at the end, but he also murdered his mother.
Yeah, so like, again, I think it was just done to be edgy. But
and my last note is kind of what we did brush on the demonic transformation angle.
Yeah,
like that is a very different way of doing it. Implementing the supernatural into this, it explains how he's never getting caught, that he's a mortal and devil-fueled killing machine. And like, I can appreciate that, honestly. It's a new angle
Yeah.
To get away from the fire and bleach bullshit that always happens.
I just wish it was in a better story.
Yeah. Also,
Like,
I wish when he saw, or when he's talking to the devil, he's like, "How about we do this instead?" He's like, "Okay." Like he didn't even really think twice about murdering so many people just to get Randy back. He really
Yeah.
just wanted Randy. I kind of wish that he had to think about it or something. You know, he just
Yeah.
immediately just I gotta get.
He
this
took a
story
moment.
done. I gotta go.
Yeah, he took a story moment to like, okay.
Yeah. That being said, he was also insane at that point, but
Yeah.
I can only use that excuse so many times.
Yeah.
Because like earlier, he did tell Bronco Junkles that he really did enjoy beating that kid up. So I guess that's alluding to the fact that he's way into violence now, and
Yeah, I also
can be empowered and invincible to do violence as much as he wants. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I also don't think he was necessarily insane at this point. I think it was more just like a mix of like those feelings he had from earlier, like getting kind of a kick out of violence like that, but also like being in grief for like the death of his brother uncle, and like also being depressed because of like what his parents and stuff are doing to him.
Just went through the hassle of summoning a fucking demon.
I mean, we all do crazy things. That doesn't mean we're crazy. Who hasn't summoned a hellspawn for scrupulous not like kind of for scrupulous non-serious means? I mean, come on,
Not recently.
it's a rite of passage, really, when you're in your teens.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fine. And I guess that's the end of my notes.
Okay. So moving on to final thoughts. I really get the feeling that the story was written by someone who English wasn't their first language. And that's not like a jab at them. It's just like, if that's the case, it's just it kind of comes in like it felt kind of like translation wise. Like there's some issues with the translations. B, by someone of a younger generation or age. C, by being typed up on someone's phone and just posted to the wiki then and there, or as you brought up there, gamer, was typed in the chat of Roblox.
I don't think it is directly a one-to-one chat because it's structured like an actual story. It's not structured.
I think like they might have taken the plot points and then like thrown it in and like added in and stuff. Yeah. Or D, all or most of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to be too, and because of that, I really don't want to be too critical about like the person's writing here. But it really needed some rounds of editing, and I mean, like, if you want to just use our episode, like, hi, there's your editing process for the story. I also don't fully understand the name changes. I guess it is just like a Roblox thing or something like that. Like
it's because those are the names of the characters that were doing this.
Maybe, yeah.
They aren't using a different name to pretend to be someone else. They're their gamer tag, but
yeah,
in the bodies of the different characters that they're portraying.
Yeah, because like Junkles is clearly Lou, and Grubby Grub is Jeff. Like that's in the story, but like, and I don't think there's any other names that are really changed. Like, because I think Margaret and Peter are actually the names of Jeff's parents in some of the stories.
That's probably because they weren't actually there as Block's characters; they were just referenced.
But the brother's supposed to be Lou.
Yeah, but I think there was a player that was playing as I think the player of Junkles was playing Lou.
What he's saying is Lou is generally younger.
Oh, that's true. In some cases, sometimes it isn't always the case.
Sometimes
he is older. Yeah. So yeah. Honestly, it kind of like reading this. I was
not only just the two, because there's also Ninja Lover 6000 _XXX.
Yeah, so there was definitely some. There were some other people in this little role play that was going on. If that is the case.
As far as I could tell, based on the 3 gamertag like names, there were 3 people.
Yeah.
One played Bully, one played Jeff, played Lou.
Yeah. What about Greg?
That's Ninja Lover.
He's one of the bullies. He's just a different bully.
Yeah. But regardless, yeah. So like all that kind of stuff aside, I still don't recommend this story just because, like, I would not have read this if I didn't have to read it for the story for the show. I'll be perfectly honest. If I wasn't reading it for Al Dente Rigor Mortis, I probably would not have I would have browsed like the first paragraph or two, and then probably would have stopped.
Would you recommend it to someone who plays Roblox?
Maybe, like, if this was used to make one of those like Roblox videos, or if this is like a transcript of one of those Roblox videos that you see of like people playing out the story of Jeff the Killer and stuff like this. I think for me, like, the reason I'm not recommending is because I'm not that age. I'm not the proper, like, I guess, age group or like generation for this kind of storytelling. So yeah, I suppose I might recommend it to like for a younger audience, and if it condemns Jeff the Killer to Roblox hell,
so be it.
Yeah, but otherwise, I'm not recommending the story. So, Mikey, These Dens of Evil, your verdict.
Well, I just remembered something that wasn't in my notes. The fact that all the bullies live in the same house.
The same apartment, even. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of got the sense that they weren't like just like kids. I got the sense they were like in their they were like supposed to be 20 something, like young adults. Like,
because they aren't the ones that bullied them in school.
Yeah,
they were just outside hanging out with guns on them.
Yeah, they were just in the hood, basically. They were in the neighborhood, that like the shitty neighborhood. Yeah. So that is an interesting, also an interesting like twist on like the Jeff the Killer story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's see my actual thoughts. So I really didn't need the Indonesian that really just translated to shit.
Yeah.
As pointed out by Gamer Yellow.
Yeah, good job on like translating some of the like the off words in the story there, Gamer.
If there wasn't a second reference point, I wouldn't have been able to do that, but thankfully there was for that one.
Yeah.
And then saying Robux instead of money, just I don't even think you can buy groceries with Robux in the Roblox universe.
Well, it's not meant to be like you earn Robux and you can turn them into real money. It's all in the game.
Yeah.
You earn the Robux in the game and you use them.
But he went to the store, but he forgot his monies. And it just or his Robux, which, I mean, you can't buy groceries with Robux.
But if you go to a server where people are like role playing out a grocery store, people buying and selling things, yeah,
that's true.
That's like literally the point of Roblox, as far as I know.
Yeah, well,
different servers that are all being populated by people doing different jobs.
Yeah, like it's basically like a platform of different games and servers and stuff.
But I mean, it could be easily fixed by saying money, because Robux is technically a currency in Roblox
that the characters would use.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight you on this, but I'll let you continue.
Also, I don't know what in my head I'm just like, tonight on Three Guys talk about stuff they don't understand from the newest generation.
Basically what it is.
Because like none of us really are like of the generation or age to like know much or to really know much about Roblox, aside from like secondhand knowledge from like younger relatives.
Yeah, it's like if we got some young kids on the show to talk about Pog.
Like, oh my god, yeah.
And then of course the super confusing uncle brother and dad mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
just
confusing.
Like, At the beginning, I was thinking of the whole LGBT whatever scenario. Like, oh
Yeah.
well, they're both
Maybe it's-
dads,
Yeah.
but
I
whatever. But then we get the name Margaret, and it's like,
mean, that could still be the thing. Like, that could be like
Yeah, that's the thing. Like these days,
Yeah.
you could be born a female named Margaret, but associate as a male. So you'd be using the him pronoun.
Yeah. Although,
But
yeah,
it also does get mixed in the sentences where that character gets referred to as her or him sometimes.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think for this story, I think it was more of like a typo error than an actual like representation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be wrong, but like that's what it kind of felt like more than in the with the context we have here. So
Yeah. So overall, I'm still not recommending this.
okay. Gamer.
Actually, it's gamey good game, by the way, as I said that in the intro.
Gamey good game.
There you go.
Your verdict.
Okay. Let me say this: how many times do we have to see Peter Parker get bit by a radioactive spider? Because it's the same thing here. I'm tired of origin stories for Jeff the Killer. Like,
Yeah.
all of these stories are written because they either like the character or because they are/were capitalizing on the popularity he has/had. So why do they find that they keep needing to redo the origin story over and over and over again? Like, if the origin is what they liked in the first place, why redo it?
Jeff the Killer is back with the same crap we've seen over and over and over again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly what it is. Like,
Yeah.
and this isn't even talking about this the story, like the story's content at all. This is just the story's idea in general as another origin story. Like, say what you will about last week's story, Jeff Returns.
Yeah.
But at least it wasn't another goddamned origin story. So,
It was
you know
actually
what?
a sequel.
You know what? For Jeff Returns, I'll partially recommend it. I'm changing my recommendation from last week.
Holy shit.
Because they had the balls to actually show something that happens after the original story.
Yeah.
You did this, Grubby Grub's true origin. You did this. So, on to the aforementioned story entry now. It's a lot, to say a little.
Yep.
Nearly every paragraph had me questioning the story or needing to redraw the images in my head of what's going on, which is my favorite thing to do. For the most part, it's not even spelling. It's like a fundamental misunderstanding of certain English words.
Yeah.
Because they're repeated, as I've said before. Like, and it might be because of typos, as you were saying,
Or even a translation error of some kind.
error. It could be anything. But
Yeah.
as a whole, for the story itself, if you filter through all of it to understand what's going on, it's sort of in a way like a Lou the Killer story, just because he's younger. But if Lou becomes the quote unquote famous Jeff image through a deal with the devil instead of just he snapped. So
Yeah.
that much of it I can appreciate because it's different to the norm.
Yeah.
That part, yeah, for sure. Reading the story though, I really wish it led with what was going on. Because visually, at first, I was seeing it as real life with kids that have weird names for reasons. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Again,
but
like-
I'll keep going.
Yeah, the world does, like, people do have really weird names sometimes like that. Like, again, I that's why initially I thought it was maybe this is like a where Jeff the Killer is like Jeff Woods is from a family of carnies or like some group that like gives their kids weird names like that. Who knows?
But yeah, as I got reading more though, and it got more and more confusing. Something that popped in my head is like, is this an AI generated Jeff the Killer?
Oh my god!
Because it's confusing enough that it very much could be.
That is okay. I guess that's answer number E. You heard me. Answer number E.
I did hear you. If you didn't double down on it, I wouldn't have realized. That's fine.
That's okay. I also realized that I was like, I can't go back. I gotta push forward.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by the number E.
But yeah, it's an AI generated script for Just
It
the
might be
Killers.
a translated AI generated script.
You might honestly be onto something with that because like
Yeah.
Grubby Grab Grub, like instead of Jeff the Killer, and like Junkles instead of Lou, like the uncle brother issues. Honestly, a lot of the typos and errors and stuff of that like kind of point in that direction a little bit. Like
That's
I've
why I say AI generated, because they're repeated.
yeah, like
It's not an
I've
accident. It's like when that long string of Indonesian is repeated, like that can't be an accident.
yeah, like I've watched some videos on YouTube of like people using AI to like generate a script and so that. And now that you brought that up, it's like I can't unsee that in this.
And I put this in my final thoughts because I wanted to give Mikey every chance to say it, because you are generally the most techie person out of all of this. I thought if anyone was going to get it besides me, it'd be you. But I don't know if that's actually the case, though.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
may
hard
not
to
be. Yeah.
know, right?
It's again like it. It's definitely like a case of like, is this an AI or is this somebody who's just starting out like writing stuff online and like using the chat system or like on their phone, typing all this up and like auto correcting issues a lot of the time. Is this like is their native language English, or is that a second language? So that's why like we're getting some weird translation issues or some context issues. Like it's one of the reasons I don't want to be too hard on like the person who's wrote the story, but like that's why I've been attacking the story more than the author.
Yeah, because we don't know anything.
Yeah.
And
But
regardless,
it's
whether or not this is an actual person that posted this, well, someone that had to post it. If it's an actual person that wrote it, or if it's all AI generated, regardless. Just like with pretty much all stories, I don't think there's a single story we've read where it's like, this doesn't even exist. You know, like you shouldn't have done this. Every
Spyro.exe, sir.
That is there as a
as a warning.
Yeah, as a bookmark, or as like, this is what you don't.
That's why he's crucified on that crucifix. wow cultist.
That is what generally they do with those. But yeah. All the stories online they all should be there because you had the balls to put them out there, you know?
Yeah.
And whether or not it's your first story or your 15th story, every time you write, you're getting better and better. So keep at it.
I mean, not all of them are going to be poggers. Some of them might be cringe.
I love pogs.
We're hip with the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
From our generation, not yours, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of, but like after I had the thought of the AI generated stuff, then it started bombarding me with Roblox references and gamer tags. So then I'm like, okay, this is all happening in the game of Roblox. Okay. But my problem with this is it kept switching in my head what's going on.
Yeah.
And I hate having
we know. We know.
If it said like from the get-go, referencing all the Roblox stuff, it would be way easier to swallow, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like halfway through, it's like, oh, okay, that's what this is. I just wish it kind of led with it, basically. But as I said before, aside from all this, like the whole devil powered Jeff thing is a really unique aspect of this.
Mm-hmm.
And like the unique aspects are that, and also that it's through blocks, which I would say is the appeal of the story, but that would imply it's appealing because it
might honestly be appealing to the Roblox, the generation that and like the kids that like Roblox.
Yes,
like,
for sure.
And this honestly could be
because like people are more than welcome to have fun online in the games they play. That's part of the fun of certain games. Like back when I played GTA 5, I heard of people just driving around in buses, like just being a bus driver, picking up, dropping people off, just like role playing and just chilling and having fun. Or like in a game like Roblox, that is the entire point of the game, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But
also something we also have to understand, or we have to remember, is that like Roblox is sort of the new kind of ground for like creepypastas to kind of like pop up, or for people to interact with creepypastas, or the next generation, the new generations to pop up, to kind of get immersed in creepypastas. I'm not sure how I feel about like how they're doing it in with the Roblox stuff, but like that's just the way the internet is. So
I mean, if this is a story about something in the game that like an original OC character that came from the game, that's one thing. But it's emulating a current character in the game, which is confusing, and I wish that they led with that. That's the long and short of this.
yeah.
But seeing it all as knockoff Lego style characters, like the Roblox characters look, it doesn't exactly set the tone for this to be creepy or a scary experience, you know?
Yeah.
Which some of the Jeff the Killer stories really are. Like they get you way into the character, and it's like scary or creepy or whatever. But not so much with this one. This one might be the least creepy out of all of them, just because if you keep the visual of Roblox in your head, it's not a scary visual. Like seeing these simplistic graphic characters running around doing these things.
Yeah.
But all in all, I'm not going to recommend the story the way it is, just because it's hard to visualize what's happening in scenes and all that. And although there's a different twist and all that to the other origin story of Jeff the Killer for this, I like that. But like, to be honest, if you ripped all the weirdness of the dialogue, the names, took Roblox out of this and just made it this is a story, real life, do it immersive and all that, with Jeff doing the things he did and devil powered and all that, I would at least give this a partial, if not a full recommendation, because I like that it's different.
Yeah,
But
I actually agree with
weirdness
that.
of potential AI generation or translation errors, what have you, different names, stuff like that. It's all just so much that I can't get past that.
Yeah. All right. So I guess at the end of the day, round table non-recommendation. But if it was done,
Uniqueness is good.
yeah. If the core concepts of that were brought here, like, were translated into a more, I guess, compelling like format, maybe a recommendation or a potential recommendation. But as it stands, as it is right now, no recommendation. Well, that has been this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted, whether it be on Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, or Tumblr. We're all on Twitter, so you can send us messages there. Mikey is at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow, but without that W at the end because his name is very long.
Or should it be at Give Me Good Game?
You can change. I was gonna say you can change your username. It won't change your at name, but you can change your username, your profile name.
No, I'm not going to change to Give Me Good Game.
Gave me good games. And I'm at Review Cultist. If you'd like, you can also send us emails. Go to aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah. And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. Look up Al Dente Rigor Mortis and select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tier with special episodes, early access, extra content. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you guys immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And again, honestly, like if you didn't write these stories or come up with them, I guess potentially roleplay them out in Roblox and then have the courage to post them online on like a wiki or something like that for other people to read and either enjoy or criticize, depending on their moods and such, on their whims, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I'm actually the Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigor Mortis. Sleep well.
And go to sleep.
So, Gamer, you know there's a sequel to this, right?